Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Varia. I'm here with the Gundam Breaker beta. Yes, I had to make a Japanese account to get this because, well, it's Japanese exclusive, but I just wanted to show this game off to you guys, and I think it's pretty good so far. But basically, I can't say that I'm a huge anime person. I used to watch Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid, then later some Digimon and stuff like that. Yes, I did watch Naruto, a good portion of the original series, but eventually I guess I just kind of lost interest in that. I've watched a little bit of Neon Genesis Evangelion, mainly just some fight scenes though, and a little bit of the movie I guess, but nothing too crazy or fancy. But if there's any anime that's ever really kept my attention after all these years, it has to be Gundam. I'm just a mecha guy, I like mecha. So I like Gundam, and I just find it to be cool. I'm not sure I really get into all the morals and stuff that they use in those series. All the light of the human heart, let's end war by doing more war. And yeah, well, I guess the Dynasty Warriors game doesn't really help with that, but you know, whatever. But yeah, I just really like the suits. I just find them really cool. But basically, I find this game really fun because you're basically playing as the models themselves in sort of a virtual reality zone. But you can completely customize your mobile suits, colors, body parts, everything. They all have different stat points, and the game even features dismemberment. Like you can shoot off an enemy's head or whatever, or you can get your own head just knocked off and it'll disrupt your long-range weapons like your, rifle or your lock-on, and it can even mess up enemies. They'll just start attacking really blindly. They won't really know what they're doing, and then basically you can get your whole top body knocked off too, and you just basically hold L1 and it'll draw it back to you. Just see the lace magnetically crawling back to your torso, but and it's pretty cool. You can pick up parts that you've destroyed from other mobile suits, and you can even finish off those mobile suits as well. And the game, the way it plays, reminds me of Dynasty Warriors Gundam a bit, but I would dare see a little bit better. It's a bit repetitive still, but the combat feels really satisfying to me. I just like how the swordplay goes. It's pretty much the same attacks, but it feels really nice. The guns have some good power to them. You can even do charge shots like right there. And basically, when you're close enough, you go into close range mode, and that's how you use your sword. It just automatically flows right with it. So the combat seems really fluid to me. You can also do, by holding R1, you'll do alternate attacks. And, like, for instance, the triple beam attack that I did a minute ago there. Like here again, right that. And, let's see, like if I press the triangle button right now, it'll give me a repair automatically. I don't really need it right now, but I can show it to you in a minute. Holding L1 is what blocks for you. Okay, see, I just knocked his head off there, and now he doesn't really know what he's doing. I can take advantage of that, and when, say, his just torso is on the ground, I can walk up to him and finish him off. Now, when you lose like your shield, you can't pick it back up, from what I can tell. You just have to go with it. Now, from what I can tell, you don't have a life limit to how long you can keep doing this. If you die, you just get a penalty and you lose some of the parts that you have picked up already. So, in other words, you don't want to die at all, obviously, if you want to keep some of your parts. Or most of, if not all of your parts. Now, these give you more points. You can find boxes like that around the whole area. These loading screens are nice and quick, I like that. Okay, let's see. If you hold L1, you'll block. Let's get a nice little force field effect with it, too. Oh, also, if you use the directional pad, you can switch some of your different alternate weapons. For instance, if I press circle now, I'll use those rockets that I got. If I switch to the wrench symbol there, I get some repair stuff. And, let's see. Oh yes, there's more of like an uppercut sword strike. And it basically makes your opponents go airborne, allowing you to do a follow-up combo. Okay, so right here. Oh, here, right here. I can finish him off on the ground while he's down like that. So it's a nice little feature to be able to do that. Okay, so here's Gundam here, the RX-78-2. And he becomes a fairly common enemy too. He has his beam javelin, and he's just coming at me. But basically, killing him, I can get some of his parts. I can get some of these Zaku parts that I destroy from those that I get from those destroyed Zakus that I can kill. Sometimes in these different areas, you'll have just mobile suits you have to get through, or okay, so I just picked up a leg part there. You have just these mobile suits you have to get through, or you'll have these little extra things where you have to destroy like this post right here to unlock the barrier, or be sort of a key point to help unlock the barrier. Just destroyed it right there. I think the enemy AI in this game is fairly good, because sometimes they won't let up, sometimes they'll just come right after you, they attack freely. Like, one thing I know about Dynasty Warriors Gundam is the fact that, I mean, the enemies are meant to be cannon fodder in that game, so it's understandable, but otherwise the only ones that actually actively try to attack you are like the ace pilots. Everything else just pretty much stands there, maybe does a few occasional strikes or a shot at you, that's about it. These ones attack you, and they just keep attacking you. It's not really hard to kill them, depends on the difficulty of the mission. Sometimes they're really, really hard to kill, especially in large groups, so I kind of like to run around and use my unibeam attack thing. Okay, now the lock-on can be kind of annoying, but to adjust it, you just use your right stick to switch between people. You just try to aim it towards them a bit. Oh. And yes, it is highly possible to lose some of your own things. Like, sometimes I can lose my jetpack, and I won't be able to boost. And like I said, if I lose my head, I will not be able to target things very well. Finish him off. I'm just gonna repair myself a bit more here and then kill this thing. Now, whenever you destroy mobile suits, you'll usually have parts like this laying around, and then you just pick those up. And that's how you get more parts. I just got a head right there. But yeah, it's definitely a fun Gundam game. I haven't really had this much fun with a Gundam game in a long time, and I find it really neat. I find it really original. I mean, it's not very often where you, well, play as the action figure or the model kit in a game. Not just with Gundam, just with anything. Of course, maybe there have been things like that in the past, I just don't know, because, well, I don't always keep up with these kinds of games. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice game so far, and it's only the beta, and they said there's going to be improvements later from what I've read up. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm just wondering, I'm assuming it'll be a pay-for game, or if, who knows, maybe it'll be free to play. It'd be nice if it was free to play, but whatever, the beta is obviously. But I really hope they make an American release for this, because I really hate it that, you know, a lot of the good Gundam games that are coming out in Japan aren't coming out here. The last one we got, really, I mean, besides the Dynasty Warriors Gundam games, and while those are still fine games, in my opinion, I like them, but they are kind of, they do get kind of, they are repetitive, and they do get kind of boring after a while. I would kind of like to see more Gundam games actually come to the US again, because the last one we really had was Crossfire, and I mean, I've watched gameplay of that, and actually doesn't look too bad in my opinion, but I know that a lot of people didn't like that game, and well, it didn't exactly get a whole lot of good reviews. But it would be nice to see stuff like this in the US again. I mean, there's a lot of people in the States that love Gundam. I like Gundam. It's cool. I'm just a mech guy. I just like mecha, and the mobile suits are cool. And the fact that you're actually able to make your own mobile suit in this game, sure, from pre-existing parts, but whatever. I mean, a lot of the suits in this series look alike anyways. For the, well, more or less. But I like being able to make my own mobile suit. I mean, if you can see here, I have my little traditional color scheme that I like to do. Silver with dark gray and some blue, light blue and dark blue. Those are just the colors that I like to do. And I like the basic structure of the original Gundam, which is what I have for my torso and head. I'm working at getting the legs, but I do like these new arms that I have right now. The shield's nice. I have the beam rifle. It's a nice balanced weapon. Can take down targets really quick. I mean, some of your attacks get changed depending on what kind of weapon you're wielding for your weapon. Like, I used to have the Heat Hawk for the Zaku, and that did a lot of damage, but it made your attack slower, and the swinging was a bit different. But there is variety in that sense. So while the combat can be kind of repetitious, it still feels nice and really fluid, and just really flows. But the weapons, the different ones you get, add a bit more variety. Okay, now there are boss fights in this game that are like a higher grade than everything else, and killing them of course gets you higher grade of parts, and basically destroying them gets you, well, like I said, better parts. And the bosses can be tricky, but really the only thing that really gets annoying to me when fighting the bosses is their henchmen, their little minions, all the other enemies, because really the bosses themselves aren't really that hard to kill alone. Like, I mean, Master Gundam, I can pretty much keep him on edge like that. Now, doing the little ground strike, the little finishing blow, doesn't automatically kill them, but it does do extra damage. Now, when you've completed a level like this, basically, you just have, you know, about 30 seconds, give or take, to finish up whatever parts you want to pick up, and then you can either let the time run out, or you can hold select for a couple seconds and it'll automatically stop for you. And then it just goes to this screen, whenever it pulls up. Waiting. Okay, there we go. It shows all the points you got. You'll start leveling up. More points. Shows the time you did, all that. You have this stuff. You basically can click on it to accept all the things that you picked up during the fight. And I'll show off the customization in a second. But there are much harder boss fights, like the giant RX-78 Gundam. He's in mission number 4 on this beta. I haven't played mission 5 yet, but I have played mission 4, and RX-78 Gundam was really annoying to try and fight, at least until you figure out his pattern. Once you figure out his pattern, he's pretty easy. But he does hit really hard, so you really want to avoid him. If he does hit you, you'll lose a lot of health, and chances are he'll wipe the floor with you. But you fight like 2 of him. You fight the regular one, well, not regular, but you fight like a weaker version, then you fight another one that has different attacks, and he's harder to beat. But it's still manageable. It took me a few tries, a few deaths before I finally got his pattern down, and then I took him out. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in this game. Now the customization is great, really great. Basically, this top one up here, parts build. When you go to that, basically it'll show a little preview back there in the background. You can sort of see it's blurry, but it's there. It's faded. But these are all the different things that you've picked up during the fight. Like there's some legs right there. There's some arms from the RX-78 Gundam. A head from the RX-78 Gundam. This one's from the Dom. Zaku, shield. Basically what you do is, for instance, I'll click on the shield. You press X on this. And then it'll automatically build it for you. And then you can use that in your customization. Now, I'm sure you see the red number over there that subtracts some of your stats. All these things have different stat points. You know, more armor, more speed, mobility, some trade-offs usually, and some add-ons, or just straight up buffs. But by building those parts, it'll allow you to use those when you want to customize them. Obviously, when you go to customize gunplay, that's Gundam plastic. See, like for instance, if I were to use that Zaku, or not the Zaku, yeah, if I were to use the Zaku head here, it would subtract a lot of the stats that I have. The current RX-78 Gundam head I have right now has some good stats. It doesn't show any subtractions or additions because I already have it equipped. But obviously, just click on those to switch between them. You start out initially in the game, you start out with just a gem, and then you work your way up with all the other parts from there. But like, where is? Oh yes, Gundam Mark II here. You start finding and defeating, of course, stronger, more different mobile suits. Like I even fought Heavy Arms at one point and Strike Freedom. See, for bodies, here's that Dom one. It kind of messes with the size of the head a bit, and it looks kind of dumb. But it kind of depends on what your preference is. You just flow with the parts, and I like to choose ones with good stats. Like that one looks cool, but it's subtracting a lot of my stats. So unless I get something later that will give me something really good, maybe I'll use that later. There's this Gundam Mark II one that subtracts a lot. This one subtracts a lot. There's basically different, like, higher grade versions of each part you get. Same with the arms, same with everything. So I'll just show you some different arms. Zaku. Legs. The backpacks give better boost things. You can add some armor. At least from what my understanding is. The different shields you can use. And yes, you can customize your weapons too. You can choose a different one, like for instance, where's the Heat Hawk? Here we go. And like I said, like if you use like the Heat Hawk for instance, it'll make your attack slower and you'll swing a bit differently, but it could be stronger, for instance. The Beam Saber is just a nice well-rounded weapon, which is what I have right now. You can choose your different gun, like here's the Hyper Bazooka, or a version of the bazooka. There's a machine gun. Of course, there's beam rifle. That's what I have right now. There's that machine gun, and then you start out with just this standard rifle for the gem. You have these different options for your alternate attacks with the directional pad that I showed earlier. You have the extra ones that use the R1 button, And then you have these different modules that I haven't gotten into those yet, but I'm assuming it'll do different things like increasing armor and speed. So that's for the body parts. Now, this part I really like, being able to paint your suit. Now, this thing has a lot of options. It's really cool. You can adjust all the shades with these sliders. I have this set at 120 for each one. If you want like a white color, you want to set everything at the same thing and then maybe raise it all the way up. Now this thing, I'm not exactly sure what that does. Oh yeah, that's right, those are decals. I don't have decals on mine, but it's up to you if you want those. This one, oh yes, this one adjusts how shiny your mobile suit is, like kind of a chrome effect. It's more metallic or dull it is. This one is for weathering, just straight weathering. Like right now, you can tell it's really clean looking. If I put it all the way up, it looks more weathered and like scratched up. This one I believe is rust. Yeah, this one's rust. See? This one adjusts dirt. This is just straight dirt. So if you want your mole suit to look dirty, like it's been in some muddy situations, go right ahead. This one adjusts scratches, I believe. Yeah, this one is for scratches. So you can pretty much just make your suit look like it's been through a lot of battles if you wanted to. This one, I'm not quite sure I understand what that one is for. I haven't really seen any complete changes on the suit, but there's a lot of options for you to do, so it's really cool. I'm overall really pleased with this game so far, and oh yeah, you can edit the name. My thing right now is RX93NT Varia. Play on the kind of the Gundam Alex thing with another number and then my own name. But I'm really pleased with this game so far. I really like it. It's fun, it's satisfying, and it's quite addicting to just keep playing it and getting more parts for your mobile suit and just improving it and making it better in every single way possible. And just having your own preference, your own mobile suit. It's a really cool game, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone out there who hasn't played it yet. But yeah, I just wanted to show off this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the commentary and my thoughts on it. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay, and I will see you guys around. Varia out.